Greetings, I'm Barrett and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today we're going to continue our playthrough of Machina Arcana, the 3rd edition. We are going through this scenario Genesis, which is found inside To Eternity. Before we begin the playthrough though, there are a couple things I want to talk about. First off, I have our two monsters over here we have to discuss. The first one is that Envoy of Dagon. I wasn't exactly sure we're playing this out right. I reached out to the creator and he did say actually we were doing it right. It is going to use its stamina to try to move next to these rubble, and that's really good, and it's going to sit there and kind of really get that rubble full of uck and guck and get it ready to be able to fire off some really powerful arcane attacks. So that was really all it was going to do. Now the other thing I did actually do wrong was I failed to read this guy correctly. It says on spawn phase. I thought it said spawn base. Well, there was a point at this playthrough where Wallace was actually adjacent to this during the spawn phase, so he should have been destroyed. But if that was the case, if I'd have known about this, and I wouldn't have read it actually correctly, I wouldn't have actually put him next to him to begin with when the spawn phase would have happened. So we're just going to continue on playing the way we are, but do know that that was a mistake and that you don't want to be next to this guy on the spawn phase. Otherwise, you're in big trouble. So those are our two monsters that I want to talk about. And there is actually one more thing I need to discuss. And that's our pal Gloria here. She has a couple new abilities that have been kind of brought to light during the 3rd edition that I wanted to show you. And I actually didn't do it exactly correctly. So I want to make sure you understand how these are played. The first one is the counted condition down at the bottom here. There's a 2 with a little X in there. And it says when activate event space, you and adjacent explorer are ethereal. So here are what we should have been using. I was using these tokens. So when I use an event space, I'm going to put that token down. Now, say we go through a couple more rounds and then I finally get to another event space and I use it. I'm going to put a second token there. Once that second token is placed, that will activate this power. And when that activates, it's going to make the explorer ethereal or an adjacent explorer ethereal for one what they call lasting effect. So this is going to last one turn. At that point, I would drop my token, let's say on her. During the time that she is ethereal, she will have this token on her. That point, as we're playing through the rest of the turn, let's say we go to the spawn phase, we go to the event, the horror phase, then we go to the monster phase, and it's going to come and attack somebody. She could, at that point, remove this token to trigger the reinvoke explorer event. That's how this is played. I was playing it incorrectly. I was putting 2 tokens on here and kind of saying you can do this whenever you want to. From what I understand and how I discussed it with the creator, that is not the case. You're supposed to use these tokens to signify that you are gaining counted conditions, and then once the final counted condition that would make this trigger happens, you then are going to be able to trigger it by placing your lasting effect using explorer markers. And then I can remove this marker at any time to reinvoke an explorer event that she has up on her top power. She's kind of a real mix of tricks is what she is. A mix of tricks. I hope that all made sense. I'm ready to dig right back into Machina Arcana. And if you are too, then I need you to meet me at the table. If you remember, the last thing we did was we tried to treat lit chapter space as passable exit token. We did that and we fled from this area. Basically, that signified us going through, I believe, this portal here. So we're going to flip over our card and see what happens. Oh, sure enough, we are diving through a portal. That's awesome. Let's move that card up and see what happens to our brave explorers. Sundered. As we gazed into the rift's shimmering void, and drawing a new conscience rose within us as we stepped through to confront the reality of an unknowable universe that mocked our very notion of belief. I think it was in that moment we went mad. Color, space, and form spun unearthed as though unspooled and re-knotted by agnostic twins of saliva and stavia. Oceans rose and mountains fell in a trick of chronology, looping in infinite spirals and transmuting into undreamed clusters of astonishing geography. Leering faces rose out of the chaos, twisting obscenely into rictus mantis grins, and the eyes, so many eyes. How long we spiraled through the rift, I could not say, for time seemed to abandon all meaning in the wake of the monstrous vistas that surrounded us. Our frail human concerns rendered impotent in the face of the limitless twisting expanse through which we now hurtled. At this time, we have 4 enters play abilities, 4 of them. So we're going to start a new round. So we're going to remove the tile that's there and start a new one. Explorers are going to restore 1 essence. We're going to unequip all their items, which is absolutely terrible. Then we're going to go to the next chapter. When we start a new round, it's going to be kind of like an intermission. Once the effect is resolved, the round starts again with the explorer's phase. So all explorers are at max stamina. So I've gone ahead and moved everything back to 6. And we're also going to put the horror and explorer markers back where they're supposed to go in their corresponding places. Now the other thing I have to do is, of course, unequip my items. So we're going to put her crossbow and rotopod, which I was pronouncing incorrectly. It's a rotopod. I've pronounced so many things wrong. And we also have our bouncing, what is this thing? The Halbrat, which is awesome. Those are all unequipped. We don't have any items. We're going to have to spend some of our stamina just to put them back on. We also get to gain 1 essence, so she's at 3, and I'm just going to move Wallace's. He is at 2. We're now told to go to the next chapter, so we're going to flip this over. Oh, it's one of these things. I guess we're going to place this out. And oh, what is it? It says, flip this card and connect it to the chapter tile in play. Place explorers on top or adjacent to the entry token. Okay, I guess we're going to take this one as well. It's another one of those. Then we have a new part here. Let's go ahead and read it. Stranger. It was both an eternity and an instant later that we found ourselves once more standing on the firmament of reality as we barreled headlong from the cosmic rift to gaze blinking upon sights and signs unknown. The same otherworldly technology we had first discovered within the bowels of the crater stretched here too in all directions, wrought in complicated frameworks that formed the boundaries of our new copper canopy. Could we have somehow traveled to the realm that first gave birth to these mysteries? How distant our home seemed now as we trained the first set of human eyes to view this scene in search of answers. Here too were the same strange portals that had flung forth the misshapen aberrations with which we had battled. Perhaps here also their activation would offer us passage. Like blind men, we raced to rattle the levers and contraptions that furnish this odd cogwheel structure, our digits clumsily with panic as we realize that may yet burst forth at any moment. Here we have our new set of directions. It is a locked space again, so we're going to have to find something on this card that's going to help us out. It's not going to be the chapter space. We can use 2 stamina to destroy an adjacent trap lever, which will then close all doors. We also can use 2 stamina to destroy an adjacent trap lever. Exploding barrels are hit. So basically it's going to activate all the exploding barrels. If there are no trap levers, treat spawn space as an exit token. So we have to get to as many of these trap levers as we can, destroy them all, and then get to the exit token. So it's very reminiscent of what was just read over here. We're clumsily just rattling through all these things and trying our best to try to foil anything that happens here. Now, of course, we're going to be setting our horror rating at 3 and our spawn rating at 3. And here is going to be what is going to happen as we continue on here. So when it's at 3, explorers are going to spawn monsters. That's the first turn we're going to have some monsters. Then we're going to reset the spawn rating at 1. This one, though, is only going to happen, the horror rating is only going to happen at 1. So hopefully we can get this all done before we have to deal with that horror rating. So I've placed our spawn marker at 3, and I'm going to place our horror marker at 3 as well. Interestingly enough, this is our map. I was not told to pick a tile. We were supposed to play here. I believe this is going to be our start space, and that's the spawn space. So I've got both of our characters right here. Wallace will start on the space, and she'll start there. Actually, Wallace is going to start adjacent to it right there. So we have both our characters there. I do have my 6 stamina, and it's the beginning. Since we have started a new turn, we're going to start with our explorers. Our explorers does have those 6 stamina. Let's start with Wallace. Wallace is going to spend 2 stamina to destroy the first lever here, which is going to shut all the doors, which isn't the end of the world. I'm going to shut all these doors. I'm going to kind of try to place them so you can see the doors, because sadly, if they're put like this, it's kind of not easy to see. So I'm going to tilt them a little bit. But these are all going to be shut now. We've shut every door here. Now in this map, it doesn't doesn't say that we can't use workbenches and chests and things of that nature. So I'm kind of excited about that. He does still have 4 stamina left. It does take 2 to open a door. So he's going to use 2 to open that door. So he has used 4 stamina. He has 2 left. He's going to move 1, 2 to right there. That's his 6 stamina. He is now out of stamina. We'll move to Gloria's turn. Gloria is going to move 1 right here, 2, 3 to open this door, and then 4, 5, 6. Now, of course, we're all on trap spaces, which is terrible if we decide if the trap actually activates. So lucky for us, our traps did not activate. Well, they did, but we weren't on them, so it's totally fine. That's the end of our explorer's turn. We'll move into the spawn phase, which there is no spawn phase. Oh, there is a spawn phase. Oh, that's because of our card. There is a 3. Let's check it out. Because of our card here, it does say at 3, and it is on 3, explorers spawn monsters. So I have to spawn 2 monsters. That's terrible. Also, and then we're going to have our horror phase, which there isn't going to be one because it's only at 1. So at that point, we're then going to move into the monster turn, and that'll be the end of our turn. And I'm just going to move these now like I did in our last video, just for recording sake, but do know that those actually move at the end of turn after everything has happened. Let's spawn our 2 monsters. The first one is going to be for Wallace. He went first. We have a, what is this? A Kachuha? I'm going to... Cthulhu. Okay, terrible. I totally mispronounced it. It is a new monster. It's from the To Eternity. It has 3, 2, 2. It only has 2 stamina. I'm sure this thing is going to be terrible. For 1 stamina, roll 1 black die. This monster moves up to 4 spaces towards its nearest, based on the die where it's going to move. If any monster moves through Explore, destroy that Explore, and it's ethereal. That's terrible. I gotta find something that can deal with ethereal monsters, because right now I cannot do anything about that unless, of course, we're able to hit it with like a trap or a barrel or something. Otherwise, I have nothing I can do about that guy. Oh my gosh, that guy is terrible. Destroy Explorer. I hate Destroy Explorers. That last one was already bad enough and I didn't read it right. This one I read right and I still don't like it. So we're going to put that right there. We'll put him on the board shortly. Our other monster is going to be, what's this? A Teko. It has 3, 4, 2, and 5 stamina. For 2 stamina, it has a 4 range arcane attack, 3 white dice, up to 2 explorers, targetable by 4 range. So it's going to attack 2 if it can. When this monster is destroyed, attacker takes top card from the weapon deck. Oh, that's awesome. So look, it's got these weapons it's shooting out. So we actually get its weapons to be able to use. All right, that's terrible. I'm going to get both of our little characters here and place them out there. Oh my gosh, this guy's going to be absolutely nuts. Oh my gosh. We'll place our this one, I'm just going to call it this one right there. Then we're going to place our other monster behind it over here. We're going to start activating this one first. It has 2 stamina. For 1 stamina, it's going to roll a black die. So we're going to take our black die, roll it up, and see what we get. We got a 3, so it is going to move towards the closest or nearest on 3, a chest. It's going to move towards a chest. There are 2 chests back here. It's going to move 1 that way, just like that. Then it has 1 more stamina. It's going to roll again. Nothing. It got a blank. So let's see what it says. On 0 event space. So it's going to move towards the event space, and it does have a total of, well, I think that's it, right? 1 stamina to be able to move 1. It moves up to 4 spaces. I apologize. I have to read the card. The monster moves up to 4 spaces towards its nearest event space. If a monster moves through Explore, destroy the Explorer. Too bad it can't destroy monsters. It moves through monsters, but that's the case. So we're going to move it right over here because there's an Explorer space right back there. Next, we'll move to our monster here. It has 5 stamina. It is going to move towards the closest explorer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is Gloria. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is Wallace. So it's going to move towards Wallace. It's going to move 1, 2, 3 to right here. And then it's going to try to destroy and break down that door. To destroy a door, a monster needs to use 4 stamina. He does not have, or this monster does not have 4 stamina left, so it is going to be completing its turn just like that. We'll set our stamina back to 6, and we'll move into our explorer's turn. And right now, Gloria is sitting right next to this workbench, and I think she really wants to take advantage of that workbench because workbenches are absolutely awesome. The workbench action is pretty sweet. It takes 3 stamina. We get to draw 3 items from the top of any item deck, so we could draw 1 from each, 1 from 3 different ones. We could draw 3 from the same. It's up to us. I'm going to grab 2. I'm going to grab an apparel. I'm going to grab one of these artifacts, and then I think we're just going to grab another apparel. I'm going to look at 3 of these and see what we find. We have found a trench coat. When one hand is unequipped, increase your attack rolls by 1. That's not really going to help her too much. We have a Slavic Automata. If you would lose health, I get to gain a 1 reoccurring thing where I can remove it instead. You may equip 2 main artifacts, or then I have a Displacer Vest. When you are hit, move up to 1 space. Oh, that's the winner right there. I'm going to take that one. But I do have some options here as well. Now that I've drawn these cards, I then can choose to keep the remaining cards or give it to an adjacent explorer. There are no adjacent explorers. On top of that, from the 2 cards chosen, nope. Now that I've drawn my 3 cards, I can now swap out any of the drawn cards with the items from your inventory. So I do have this Rotopod that I don't know if I'm ever going to use. So I could swap it out with one of these cards. I think I might swap it out with this one. Actually, no, this one does give me 1 towards my willpower, which is better than nothing. And I know I can't use 2 of these because they're both body. So I think we are just going to keep the Rotopod. I think we're going to keep it. All right, I'm okay with it. I guess, what do you know? I said I really ragged at the Rotopod the last video. But I think we're going to actually keep it. Who knows? It might actually come in handy again. From now, at this point, I get to keep the remaining card or give it to an adjacent explorer. And then I get to destroy any of the remaining cards or place the rest on top of their corresponding decks. And then the best part is I get to resolve an inventory action. I am going to destroy that one. I'm really thinking. Now, of course, Wallace gets to go next. And he's probably going to do the same thing. And when one hand is unequipped, increase your attack rolls by 1. And he gets 2 towards his... I think that's going to be pretty good for him. He is using just a one-handed axe right now. He has this axe, this one-handed axe, which is pretty good. I think we're going to do that. I'm going to put this back on top, knowing that he is going to be going next and probably keeping it. I'm going to take this. Now I get to perform a use inventory action, so I get to equip everything I have, just like that. Now, none of these are able to connect with each other because none of them are actually, well, first off, they're not the same type of thing. I don't have multiple weapons and I don't have multiple apparel. But I'm going to move my cards over here just a little bit in case I do get some of those in the future. But she's doing okay now. She now has a total of 3 armor and 4 willpower. That's not too bad. And that only cost us our first 3 stamina. She still has 3 left. At this point, with her remaining stamina, she is going to move 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. So she is next to this door. So next turn, she could maybe open that door and maybe get one of these chests. Or she could go and try to take care of that other trap space, which is right up there, which might not be a bad idea. Wallace's turn is next. He's going to move 1 to right there because he's pretty happy about this. He's then going to also use that workbench. Now, when I use the previous workbench, I should have put a destroyed token on it, and I forgot to do that. Whenever we use one of these, we have to put these destroyed tokens on it. So I'll put one on Wallace, and I do have to put the one down here that Gloria used as well. So let's go ahead and draw his items. I'm sure you're super, super shocked, but I'm going to grab 2 apparel and an artifact again. I know we're getting that one really good apparel, but remember, I'm also trying to find something that can hit something that's ethereal as well. This one right here says crystal figurine. I can use 1 stamina or essence, and you are ethereal, which is pretty cool, and explorers can target ethereal units. Boom! There we go. Oh my gosh, crystal figurine, you are the man. Let's see what else we find. Fuzz Hamata, when you are hit, the attacker loses 1 stamina. That'd be really good. Or, of course, we have our trench coat as well. Oh my gosh, now I'd like both of these again. Oh no, which one do I keep? Now, I could also remove something from my inventory. That's not going to happen. We're going to keep this because this can actually attack ethereal units, which is absolutely key to victory around here with that floating thing that goes all over the place and I never know where it's going to go, which is very, very bad. And it can destroy explorers. Not good. Let's go ahead and figure out what we want to do. Should we want to get rid of both of these, or do we want to keep, or at least put them back on top? I've decided to destroy the Fuzz Hamata, and I'm going to put that trench coat again back on top, because now if we decide to use a chest, I know that is what's on top if we ever need to do that for Wallace. It's so tough. That's one of the hardest parts, because of course, as we mix in level 2s at some point, if the more of these we can destroy, the less chance we have of drawing level 1s when the level 2s get mixed in. So sometimes it is best just to destroy them, but sometimes they look really good and you want to keep them. Now let's go ahead and do a use inventory action. So at this point, I'm going to equip my crystal figurine and I'm going to equip my bouncing hurlbat. If you notice though, the workbench, different from all the other spaces, don't give you essence when you use them. Only like the chests and the event spaces and things of that nature apparently do, and also killing bad guys, which is sometimes good and bad. So just remember that that does not give you essence. The spawn phase would be next, followed by the horror phase. Our card does not have a 2 on it, so we're going to skip both of those phases and move right into the monster activation. We start in the queue with our fiery moving ball of death here. It's going to go first. We're going to roll a die and see where it goes. It got a 1. A 1, according to this, is it is going to move towards the chapter space. So the chapter space is going to be over here, and its shortest path will be up and around. It's going to move 1, and that's about as far as it can get. It 2, I guess, would be right here. It's going to move right to there. Sadly, it can't get to the chapter space because these doors are in the way, which is actually protecting me right now, which is kind of funny. We'll roll again, and we got a 2. This time it's going to move towards the spawn space. So it's going to move 1, 2 right onto that spawn space. Oh, that's a terrible space to be. I was so hoping you would end next to this barrel because you could shoot the barrel and then damage this thing with damage ethereal units with that barrel. We have 5 stamina for our next monster. It's going to take 4 to destroy this door, so we're going to destroy that door. We're going to place one of these destroyed door markers down here. This door no longer can be destroyed. It has 1 more stamina. It's going to move in right there. Coming to the end of the round, we'll move both of these down 1, and sadly, I know what that's going to mean. Next turn, we're going to be doing a horror event. Our characters are going to gain all 6 of their stamina back, and we'll move into their turn. All right, I got a plan. It's not very good, but we're going to give it a shot. We're going to use our Hurlbat. We're going to start with Wallace. Wallace is going to take his Hurlbat, and he is going to hurl it. Attack 1 black and 1 white. If you hit, equip this item as a main weapon. So we're going to whip this thing, and I'm going to throw it right here at that barrel. That's my plan. To activate that exploding barrel, I do have to get at least 1 hit. So let's roll these up. I got plenty of hits. I got 5. That is going to make that exploding barrel happen. That means it's going to blow up and attack everything adjacent to it for 3 black dice, meaning our poor little monster here is in a world of hurt. Hopefully, we'll see how this goes. I got a total of 3, 4, which is just enough to put 1 damage onto this monster. At this point, that means our Hurlbat is going to be coming back to us because it does say if you hit, equip this item as a main weapon. So I did actually hit, so I get to re-equip that item. I'm then going to move Wallace up 1. Now, of course, it took me 2 to hurl the bat, 1 to move me, and then I'm going to use 2 more, again, to swing my Hurlbat at this monster. And now I'm just going to swing it as if it is a normal attack. I'm going to roll my white and black and see how we do. Oh, I only got a 2. I did not hit it. That is bad news city. I've only got 1 stamina left, so we're out of actions. I guess I get 1. I can move if I want to. And why not? Let's take 1 step backwards, and I do have to put a destroyed token on top of that barrel. We're going to move into Gloria's turn. She's going to move 1, 2, 3 to right here, and then she is going to take a shot as well. She has her repeating crossbow here. She gets to roll 4 dice, but it does take all the rest of her stamina to do this. And she did get enough to hit him, or the monster, I should say, so it is going to die. It has 2 health. It's going to take its 2nd damage, and it is going to take a death. Take a death. I don't even know what that meant. She's going to gain 1 stamina or essence, though, for killing the monster. She gets a total of 5 max, so she's getting, again, pretty close to the top. She has no stamina left. I'm going to move that to 0. At this point, we are going to do what's on our card for the spawn phase. It says reset spawn rating. It is going back to 3. Then this one does say increase monster threat by 2 and invoke a horror event and reset the horror rating. Our monster threat goes up by 2. Then on top of that, when I invoke a horror event, you'll move the threat up 1 and draw a card. Let's see what happens. We have Bard. Let me out! Let me out! The walls are closing in. It's all caving in around me. Don't you see? Don't you see what you're doing? It's exactly what they want. They're in here with us. They're all around us. You bastard. Why would you shut us in like this? Why would you close us in the dark? We're trapped in here forever, and we're never getting out. When an explorer closes door, invoke horror event. Okay, well, good news, I'm actually opening doors, so I'm not closing doors. That's good. We'll move into our monster turn. This one's super dead, so we'll roll our black die and see what this one does. I got a 1, which means it is going to move towards the chapter space. 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. Oh boy, he's getting close to us. Let's roll the die again and see what we get. We got a 2, which means he is going to move towards the spawn space. 1, 2, 3, 4 back over there. Oh my gosh. All right, we got to get to this guy and we have to take this guy out. Oh my gosh, I don't even know how we're going to do it. 1, 2, 3. I do have a shot there, and 1, 2, 3. I have a shot there. Oh, okay. We're going to gain all our stamina back, and we're going to have to either take this guy out or go destroy this and move on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to open the door. That'd be really bad. We'll start with Gloria. Gloria is going to use 1, 2, 3 stamina to move 1, 2, 3 to right here. Oh, the door is still closed. She can't see him. The door is closed. Oh no, this is terrible. Oh, I needed her to get there. Okay, instead we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not going to be enough to actually attack this thing. Wow, this thing is brutal. All right, I got a plan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then step back for 6. That would open the door at least. I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to, I want the door shut though. She's going to move right up to that door again and stay put. He's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. And then he's going to do 5, 6 to open that door. That's what we're going to do. There isn't anything on this card that states that he is going to move towards a trap space. So I'm good from where I am here because he's not going to try to move into this direction. And if he tries to go towards this space over here, he's going to have to go up and around. He can't go through this door. So I guess good news, bad news. I can't, he's not going to hit me, but bad news, he's still on the board. I do have to now do a spawn, and since there is a 3 on our card, we have to spawn monsters per explorers, and we have 2 yet again. We'll draw our first monster and see what we have found. Oh, Byakhee. These guys are awesome. I totally fooled this guy last time thanks to some help from the community. I threw him into a pit. He's got a lot of defense, which is pretty bad, but not a lot of, again, willpower here. Sadly, I don't have any willpower attacks yet. This says when a new monster is destroyed, this monster teleports that monster's position. So that's really bad to have on the board right now because all I want to do is kill the monster that's on the spawn space so I can get out of here when I destroy that last trap. But sadly, this thing is going to be teleporting right there in its spot. Our second monster is going to be, oh, what is this? The Spider of Leng. Oh boy. Okay, well, first off, I don't like spiders. They scare me really badly. But that's okay. We're just going to see what he does. For 2 stamina at 2 range, he'll attack with an astronomical amount of dice. And when this monster is destroyed, attacker gains an item, then takes item beneath this card. Okay, so this states here that on activation, or when this comes into play, take an item from the nearest explorer and place it beneath this card. Oh no, that's terrible. That's the worst thing that could have happened. Okay, so I have to put an item under that card. Well, in order to hit this guy, I've got to keep my celestial figurine, but I can't hit him then without my weapon. Oh no, this thing is terrible. But don't worry, there's saving grace. I forgot about this guy. It says when this monster is destroyed, attacker gains top card from the weapon deck. And the person that killed him was actually Wallace. So Wallace gets to take a card from the top of the weapon deck, and let's see what he has found. An arcane coating. Okay, that's fine. You're going to keep this. That's great. Increases the weapon's arcane attack rolls by 1. That's really good. If he's not going to be equipped though, it's going to be in his inventory. Then now let's see what this thing says. Item from the nearest, to take any item from the nearest explorer and place it beneath the card. Fine, you can take this thing, that's totally fine. You can have that. There you go. Now, in order to get that back, of course, I have to destroy that monster. Oh man, I need to place these monsters down. The first one I'm going to put right here. And one thing I missed on his card is he is immobile, so he will not move. He's going to sit right there. That's fine. He can stay right there in his spider corner. I'm going to put the Byakhee, I'm going to put it right there, and that's the end of the spawn phase. It's time for our monsters to activate, starting with our roly-poly bag of death here. Let's see how he goes. He is going to go nothing, so that means he is going to move towards the event space, which is right there. Oh, this could be really bad. We're now going to roll again, and we got a 1, so he is going to move towards the chapter space. 1, 2, 3, 4, right towards that chapter space. Whew, okay, I need to try to get this thing, and I think I can shoot him from here to there. That's not a bad idea. I can probably take it out. Next, we're going to move into the Byakhee. The Byakhee will then target the closest explorer, and it will determine that based on what's around it. It will ignore, or it will try to move avoiding impassable spaces such as rubble and action spaces, but it ignores closed doors and units. So it's still going to try to get to this character even though this door is here. So it is the closest, she's the closest Gloria is, so it's going to use all 4 of its stamina to destroy that door. That door is now destroyed. That's the end of the Byakhee's turn. Now, of course, the sad thing is 1, 2. This thing can't 1, 2 shoot anybody because it only has a range of 2 and it is immobile. So at this point, it cannot attack as well. We're going to go to the end of turn phase and we're going to move both of our tracks down to 2, meaning we're not going to worry about anything this round. I just need to try to get out if I can. Here's what we're going to do. This Byaku's bad news. It's going to try to kill somebody. Okay. We are going to do it this way. She is going to use her stamina to move 1, 2, 3. Then she's going to use her 2 more stamina, 4, 5, to get out. Gloria is out. She's able to use that as an exit space. No, she can't. I lied. She can't do that because it has to use this thing first. So he's going to go 1. Then he's going to destroy this thing, which is also going to destroy the barrels. I forgot I had to do the trap thing first. So he's going to destroy the trap space, which is going to destroy these barrels, which is going to be awesome. It doesn't do anything because the barrels are already dead. It took Wallace 3 stamina to do that, so he has 3 left. Sadly, it's not enough for him to get out of here, but that's okay. I've got a plan. He is going to move again to here for his 4th stamina point, and that's going to be all he's going to do. He's going to stop right there. I could throw my hurl bat, but remember, if I miss it, it becomes unequipped, and I'd like to keep it equipped. At this point, now Gloria is going to use her stamina. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She is out, which is fantastic. She's made it out. Sadly, there's a lot of monsters still on the board, and Wallace is by himself. But I have faith in Wallace. Wallace should do pretty good, I think. We'll move to the spawn phase, which there isn't anything. There also is not a horror event as well, so we'll move into the monster's turn. First, we are going to start with our rolling ball of death, as I've been calling him. He is going to move towards an event space, so he's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4 back over to here. I need him to get away from there. That is the worst place for him right now. 1, he's going to move towards a chapter space. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the best space he could move to. Thank you. That's fantastic. The Byaku now has 4 stamina. It's going to move 1, 2, and then what's remaining is stamina. It is going to perform its melee attack with 3 dice. A level 1 monster with 3 black dice is pretty brutal. That's way more than enough to hit Wallace. Wallace is going to take 1 damage. He is down to 3 health and 2 essence. Wallace is still out of range of this spider. 1, 2. It cannot hit him, so we're going to move into the explorer's turn. He's going to gain all 6 of his stamina back, and I'm guessing you're going to find out what he's about to do. He's going to move 1, 2 onto the spawn space and then spend 2 more to use it as an exit token. I do want to mention before we continue, I should have moved these down at the end of turn before Wallace left the board. That was my fault. We're going to be moving on now because we are able to use it as an exit token if there's a nose trap levers, and we did. So we used the spawn space as an exit token. We're going to flip our car. What is that? Oh no, I know what that is. That's going to be Bad News City. That looks exactly like something we've seen before. Look at that. Look familiar? This is going to be bad news. Okay, that is what apparently we've run into here, I'm guessing. Let's see what it says here. We're on Summit. As the mechanisms locked into place, we found ourselves again transported. But whether lower or higher, from fat to fire, we could not yet conceive. Breathlessly, we clung to this moment of respite as fate swiftly conspired to wrench it away, our hopes and ambitions, mere playthings to this grim intention. A familiar monstrous presence was upon us, drowning the light and curdling our blood as we turned. We do have some on-entry things here. One is we're going to draw a new map tile. So we do have a new map tile this time. We're going to place destroyed tokens on every map tile edge and treat them as rubble. Again, the rubble. Place explorers on top of any spawn space. Take the spawn of Cthulhu adjacent to the chapter space with max health equal to the number of explorers plus 2. Oh my gosh, do I have to kill this guy? I don't think I have what it takes. I don't think I can take him down. Our chapter is again locked. We are going to set our spawn and horror ratings at 3. It has 0 charges, max of 3. Increase explorer attack rolls by the number of charges. So that's going to be how we're actually going to hit this guy. Because if you notice, this guy actually has 8 armor and 8 willpower. It's going to have 4 health because it's going to have health equal to the number of explorers plus 2. And on top of that, it has 5 stamina here, and it's going to do a lot of terrible things. We have an ability here that when explorers activate an action space, I get to restore 1 charge, which means if I can get 3 action spaces taken care of, I can get up to plus 3 to my attack rolls, which would be really good to try to hit an 8, even though I think we need to worry about that Halabat. I think I need a new weapon on Wallace. That thing only rolls 2 dice. We're going to then spawn. When the spawn of Cthulhu is destroyed, remove destroyed tokens from the map tile edges. Go to the next chapter. If there is a chapter space, the monsters can't be moved or pushed or pulled into pits. Oh, that's one way you could have probably gotten rid of the spawn. They've gotten rid of that. You can't just push them into a pit. That would have been good news. Of course, the bottom here shows us exactly what we're going to do for our explorer or our horror and our spawn rating here, it's only going to happen at 1. So unless it's going to get to that 1, I won't talk about it. We do have to reset these both to 3. So I'm going to set my horror rating and my monster rating to 3. And then I'll just say, okay, and I'm moving those down. I'm not going to keep coming back here and showing you unless, of course, we do get to that 1. We draw a new map tile. So we're going to just take the one from the bottom here and place it out on the board with it facing in that direction. At this point, we are going to spawn our characters on the spawn space. We're going to put our spawn of Cthulhu on the chapter space. So here's our spawn of Cthulhu. He's going to go right here on this chapter space, and I get to choose a spawn space. I think we're going to place our characters up here. I'm going to put Wallace right there, and I'm going to put Gloria right there. I think that'll be just fine. And now it's going to be our explorer's turn. I've got a plan, a kind of tricky plan. I'm going to use this card. This is our Weavers of the Cosmic Loom. It has 2 charges, and it says for 3 stamina, I can lose 1 charge to activate any action space. That's awesome. I now think I maybe should have started more down here because there's another spawn space right here, and I would have been farther away from him. But I'm going to use both of my charges to do that, meaning I'm going to go ahead and discard this. That's going to give us the ability to activate 2 chapter or action spaces, which is fantastic because not only do I get to activate them, I get to place 2 charge tokens down on our actual story card, meaning now I'm already up to 2 charges, which helps a ton. Now, what 2 action spaces am I going to use? I'm going to use this chest as the first one, meaning I get to draw 2 cards from whatever I want and decide what to do with them. I think we're going to draw a weapon, and we're going to draw an apparel. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to give them to Gloria or maybe potentially him. Oh, look at this thing. I think we already knew what this was. That was absolutely hilarious. Totally forgot that was on top. I'm going to discard it now. Let's see here. Force Alternator. Increase armor and will by 1 and reduce armor and will by 1. Then that's if I use 2 stamina. For 2 stamina and 3, I can make an arcane attack with 1 and 1. Ah, no, this is just about as bad as the other thing. I need to get something with more dice. But I think this is better than anything. I'm allowed to give this to Wallace if I want to, and I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to give that to Wallace. Now, this comes in unequipped, so he can't equip that, except that he is a bruiser, so I think he can, but he'd have to unequip it. He can only have 1 main item when he does that. So we're just going to go ahead and do that way. I get to use my second one. I'm going to use my second space. I'm going to use this workbench right here. Now I get to draw 3 of anything. I'm going to choose a weapon. I'm going to choose an apparel, even though I already knew what that apparel was. And this time I'm going to also choose another artifact. Maybe this time that Rottlepod I can get rid of. We have found a music box for 1 essence and 3 up to 3 range. I can restore 1 health, or I can just spend 4 stamina to restore 1 health. That's not bad. And I get 1 towards my willpower. I've got a heavy javelin. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Look at this thing. Attack 3. That's what I'm talking about. Now, of course, those white dice aren't the greatest. There are more chances of missing, but 3 dice is so much better than 2 sometimes. And then we've also got, what's this? A checkerboard cravat. I can restore 1 health. When you gain apparel, restore 1 stamina. I can remove it to restore health. Okay, I don't think we're going to take this thing. I like the music box. I'm going to keep the music box, but I also could potentially remove something if I want to. And I'm going to remove this. I'm going to switch that out with one of these 3 cards. I'm going to switch it out with that one. Now I get to choose which one of these I want. I'm going to keep the heavy javelin, and I'm going to give this to Wallace, mainly because I can. Why not? It's one-handed, meaning I'm able to equip 2 different one-handed weapons if I want. Now, both those do come to him unequipped from how I understand it, but Gloria gets to use a use inventory action. So Gloria's all set to go. She's going to equip that music box and drop her stamina down to nothing. That's fantastic. We are going to destroy the other 2 cards. For using the chest, I do get 1 stamina back. Wallace's first action is to use inventory. He's going to use 3. He's going to unequip his bouncing hurlbat, and we're going to equip both of these. They're both one-handed weapons, so he can have them both in 1 different hand. And besides, if you look, he's actually carrying one of these things in his hand. I don't know if it's exactly one of those things, but he's got like big spears. He doesn't have an axe, so he's going to unequip that axe and put the 2 spears on him instead. He has 3 stamina left. He's actually only going to use 1 to move right there, and that's going to be the end of his turn. We'll move into the spawn phase and the horror phase. There isn't any, so we'll move into this terrible monstrosity's turn, the spawn of Cthulhu. We'll see how this thing goes. It's got 5 stamina. Now it's going to try to do these first. It's going to try to do an arcane attack at melee, or it's going to try to use this, where it's going to spend 3 stamina at a 2 range that pretty much goes through, it'll go through like these spaces here, because it's got this little spiny thing around it. The only thing that's going to stop this is going to be something like the walls or a closed door or something of that nature. So it's going to use its 5 stamina to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 towards the closest explorer, which is that one right there. It's going to be now our hero's turn, our explorer's turn, but I am going to move my 2 markers down. They're going to drop down to 2. At this point, it's going to be Wallace's turn first. I've got a plan. We'll see if this plan works. I bet it could work. We'll see how it goes here. I'm going to use his force alternator. I'm going to spend my 2 stamina and increase the armor and will by 1 for having a 2 reoccurring, and I am going to use it on Gloria. So Gloria is going to gain a couple of these tokens. That'll show that she has a +1 to her armor and will. Also at this point, I can reduce the armor and will by 1 for 2 rounds for our Spawn of Cthulhu. He's also, well, I'm going to give him 2 of these, I guess. He'll take a couple of these too. And he'll take those and put them right there. We're only going to give 1 to Gloria. From how I understand it, you can't keep giving out ones that you don't have any things, which is kind of interesting that this actually has 2 reoccurring. I think that means you just give 1 of these to remind him. So I have 1 left. That's how it does it. Okay. So I'm going to give 1 to Gloria to remind myself that she has +1 armor and will. I'm going to give 1 to the Spawn of Cthulhu because he is going to have to deal with this as well. He has -1 to his armor and will. With that done, that cost him 2 of his stamina. He's going to use 2 stamina now to move 1, 2, and I think you're seeing where this is going. With a move of my camera, the trap space comes into view, and I'm going to spend 2 more stamina to activate this trap space, hitting everything on these graded things for 3 black dice. For activating that trap space, I do get a charge token. We're going to get that before we roll our dice, so I'm going to get +3 to this roll. Our trap space is going to allow us to roll 3 black dice, and let's see if we get that Cthulhu. We got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 with our pluses. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's enough to hit him. We've done 1 damage. We still have to do more than that, though. He only has a 7. So that's what, 3? So we did need to actually get those charges. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to hit him. Oh my gosh, this guy's going to be terrible. I'm glad I got all those charges. That's the end of Wallace's turn. He has used all 6 of his stamina. We'll move into Gloria's turn. And Gloria is 4 spaces away. 1, 2, 3, 4. So she can double shoot with a crossbow repeater here with 2 black and 2 white. I'm digging the repeater crossbow here. This thing's pretty awesome. I got 2, 3, 4, and then I got 5, 6, 7 because of our charges on that thing. So we did yet another hit because he does have -1 to his armor and his will. I'm going to use my other 3 stamina to go ahead and fire this again. Let's see how it goes. I've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, enough to hit him. We've done yet another one. We have done 3 of the 4 damage we need to take out this Spawn of Cthulhu. Moving into our horror and our spawn phase, there is nothing because our track is on 2. When it gets to 1, something will happen. We're now going to go into our monster turn, and we're going to activate our Spawn of Cthulhu with his 5 stamina. He is going to attempt to try to do this first. If that can't happen, he's going to do this. So he is going to try to get into range 2 and then lose 1 essence. Oh, and this monster restores 1 health. Whoa, barf. Okay, he's going to move 1, 2, and he's now going to be able to zap essence from her. Oh, that's terrible. Lose 1 essence. This monster restores 1 health. So now the Spawn of Cthulhu only has 2 health on him. He's only taken 2 damage. That's terrible. And I'm going to have to remove 1 essence from Gloria. That's going to conclude our Spawn of Cthulhu, and we'll move into our Explorer's turn. That Cthulhu made me lose the 1 essence, but I do get 6 stamina. I'm just going to drop it straight down to 0 and attack with that repeater crossbow twice. I am going to give all 6 up there to Wallace, so after I'm done hopefully destroying him, Wallace can come back up and do whatever we need to do next, hopefully. I am in range with my repeater crossbow, so we're going to roll him up and see how we do against the Spawn of Cthulhu. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 because of our charges on that thing. That's enough to hit him for 1. He only needs to be hit 1 more time. Let's see how we do. We got a total of 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is still enough because we still have that reoccurring event on him where he only has 7 defense, which is fantastic, that means he has taken 4 damage, which is enough to kill this Spawn of Cthulhu that I thought I probably wouldn't be able to take down. Oh, I'll tell you, what really helped us take this Cthulhu down was this card right here. This card was was absolutely amazing. Gloria is going to gain back her 1 essence that she lost just a little while ago, and we'll continue on with the rest of the story. Now, of course, Wallace still hasn't gone. It does say here, when the spawn of Cthulhu is destroyed, remove destroyed tokens from the map tile edge and go to the next chapter. I totally forgot to put the destroyed map rubble tokens on there, but that's okay. It really didn't have any gameplay effect. We're going to remove those, but they're not really there to remove. And we're going to move into the next chapter. Let's see what we have found. We have found a map tile space. All right, I'll move that aside and see what it says here. It says, flip this card and connect it to the map tile in play on any available map tile edge. If there is no available map tile edge, remove this card from the game. Treat gates as 2x2 passable area that can only be activated by an adjacent trap lever. If we look at this one here, that's the trap lever right there, and those are they're saying we can move through these, is from how I understand what it says here. They are passable area. When the gate is activated, place a closed door figure on it. It is still passable area, and the closed door figure cannot be interacted with. All right, so we're going to do that. We'll place this one. It's going to, okay, it looks exactly like the next one. Oh, we got another one. It says flip this card. Okay, it says the exact same thing. Let's move ahead with the same thing. Then we have the same, so there's 4 of them. Well, it makes sense. There's 4 edges to a board. That's absolutely awesome. So there are 4 gates. Look at these things. There are 4 gates. This is absolutely cool. All right, so we get to add these to the map. That's going to be amazing. All right, well, it says here, shut down. First, I want to go ahead and put those out on the board. We'll remove the Cthulhu End to Eternity is going into eternity. Check this out. I get to put these out on the board like this. Oh my gosh, this is absolutely awesome. So I am making this really cool looking board. I'm going to move this up. It might go out of camera, but down here there's one more tile I have to place. So we'll move this up a little bit more, and then as we play, I'll make sure to get a better position for our camera. But wow, look at how cool that is. So now I do have 1 left, and I can't place it because if you look at the tile up there, there isn't a place to place it up there. So it did say I'm supposed to remove that one from the game, which is okay. We still have 3 we get to try to take out. This is really neat. This is neat that they can add these awesome dynamics to a game like this. Oh, this is so cool. Shut down. As the great beast at last succumbed, lurched, and fell, the entire world seemed to erupt, shrieking in a dissonant, sympathetic chorus. We felt the pitying wail rattled mercilessly within our skulls, as all at once a quartet of unseen apertures flung themselves wide open, revealing the machinations and of workshops beyond, festooned with runic glyph work and yet more obscure apparatus. Each room yielded a glimpse of complex contraptions, varying waves of arcane energy to central gateways that towered like centuries above the cluttered within. With a certainty in our bones, we sensed that this energy was the very same that animated the abominations with which we had dulled. If we could cause them to pulse in tandem with the presence of the beasts, then what salvation might yet be wrought? So at this point, I'm just going to increase the monster level by threat by 1. Why not? And then just explorers are going to spawn monsters. Oh, what a great way to start. Let's go ahead and look at the rest of the card before we do all that. We're going to put our spawn and horror ratings both at 2. Lucky for us, that's right where they are. For 2 stamina, and I have to be in melee, I can destroy an adjacent trapped lever. If there's a monster in target gate, banish unit in target gate, then activate that gate. When all gates are activated, go to the next chapter. When any monster is destroyed, an explorer spawns monster. Oh my gosh, so they're just going to keep coming and coming and coming. And for whenever we get to the ones, we're going to both explore, the explorers are going to spawn a monster. And look at this, we're also going to invoke a horror event. And at that point, we're also going to reset them. So every other turn, something's going to be happening to us. And if we do kill things, they're just going to keep coming. So let's move our monster threat up by 1. We're almost to the point we're going to have to add level 2 monsters. And I never got to add any level 2 gear yet. Let's start by spawning 2 monsters and see what we got. We got this guy, Sorrel. He is going to move and try to attack us. When this monster is destroyed, it attacks 3 adjacent units. Okay, so it's going to explode and attack everybody. That's awesome. We'll put him down on the board. Then we're going to draw 1 for our other explorer. And we've got, oh, this thing is terrible. Absolutely terrible. I don't like this thing at all. This thing's horrible. All right, this thing is just terrible. When it's basically going to heal things, otherwise every turn it is going to spend its 1 stamina to hit every explorer. That's going to be awesome. So that's That's terrible. You got to deal with that guy somehow. I don't know. It's just going to be just bad. Interestingly, from how I see it, we're going to spawn these two monsters. And they're actually spawn right next to Gloria, from what I can tell. We're going to spawn them at the spawn place closest to the person that's supposed to spawn them. So I'm going to place them right up here. The reason I'm going to do that is because this one could be placed down here, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4 away from Wallace. Or it could be placed up here, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4 away from Wallace. Either way, I could do that. I think actually I am going to spawn him down there, but I am going to keep this thing up here. Gloria hopefully can take care of that thing on the first turn. I'm hoping that's going to be the plan. We'll see how this goes. Gloria might be into Sacrifice City if I can then get Wallace to run around the board and hopefully try to take out all of these gates is going to be his plan. It is still his turn. He does have 6 stamina. He could be super cool and try to help out Gloria, but that's not going to happen. He's going to go run over here and try to activate this trap space. That's going to be what he's going to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just not enough. I needed one more to do it. If I could have activated the trap space, I could have closed this first gate, which would have been great. So, with not deciding to do that, maybe it is best to try to take out this tree. It does have 4 defense. Now, I do have the ability to hit it with melee, or I can hit it with an arcane attack at a range of 3 with this force alternator right here. And it is 1, 2, 3 away, so maybe that's my best plan. Of course, if I kill it, something else is going to come out. I really think it's just best to take care of these trap levers. I think is our best plan here. So I'm going to have Wallace move over here. That's 5. He has 1 left he can't do anything with. It's time for the spawn phase and then our horror phase. And as I said before, those are going to activate next round. Right now the marker is on 2. They only activate on 1. We'll move into the monsters phase now, which is going to be awesome. We've got our Sorrel. It's got 4 stamina, so it's going to attempt to move towards the closest explorer. And if we look here, the closest explorer is going to be, I believe, Gloria. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, where as opposed to Wallace, which is a million miles away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, actually, it wasn't too far more. So this creature is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 to right there. Its attack is a melee attack, so it wasn't able to stop to do anything. We'll move to our giant tree of death here, which is going to use its 1 stamina. And it says here, if there is a wounded monster, restore 1 health to the monster. Otherwise, arcane attack 3 explorers. And it is immobile. It's not going to move. It's going to attack everybody that's on the tile. Now, I'm not sure if it attacks this one, but according to the rules found in our To Eternity thing here, it says, a chapter tile is considered part of its connected map tile. And when determining the map tile scope, chapter tiles connected to one another are considered to be a single chapter tile. So these are considered to be all part of this tile. So these are both targeted by his attack. Let's roll our dice to see what happens to our brave explorers. They got a total of 4, and it's going against an arcane attack. So our will is going to attempt to block this. Right now, Gloria sits at 2, 3, 4 will, and sadly, Wallace is only at 2. Nope, he's got 3. Sadly, we both got hit. So our characters are both going to take 1 damage. That's going to bring them down to 1 and 2. Oh, I guess they're both at 2. Sorry, they're both at 2 health right now. Oh my gosh, they're getting close. Now remember, I can use Essence to take damage if I wish to. So Wallace technically still has a couple more, and Gloria has a lot of extra health unless I need to use that Essence for something else. Coming to the end of the round, we'll move our respective markers down. And this time, when it comes to the horror phase and also the spawn phase, we'll be activating them based on the card. Our explorers are going to gain back their 6 stamina, and we'll move into their turn. I think we're going to start with Wallace. He's going to use 2 right away to destroy that trap space. So we'll place a destroyed token right there on the space. It said to place a door token right here on the portal, and that's going to be the end of that. Now, one thing I did actually wrong when just a little while ago when we were playing on that 2x2 tile is he did destroy another trap space, and actually Gloria was standing on these traps. When you destroy a space, it's the same as activating a trap or barrel space. They're going to activate. So at this point, I need to roll damage for these 2 monsters, and I'm also going to roll for Gloria as well. She should have actually been hit by the trap on our last map. A trap will do 3 black dice. We'll roll for Gloria first and see how it does. It got enough to do 1 damage, so she is down to 1 health, but instead of taking the health, we're going to take an essence, meaning we're down to 4 essence. At this point now, this is now going to be the trap that Wallace is springing on the 2 monsters that are here, and he got a total of 4, which is going to be enough to damage both of them. Having hit both of these monsters, we're going to put 1 damage on this one, and we're going to do a damage this, which will kill it. When you do roll and hit at multiple monsters monsters, you only roll once, and that affects based on what the die roll is. You don't roll individually for each monster when it comes to an attack that hits everything. So this person has taken one. This one is dead, which means that Wallace is going to gain an essence. He is back up to 3. This will remove monster from the board, and we're going to move 1, 2, 3, 4 with the remaining essence. We're in sprint mode. Our goal is to activate these trap levers here so we can open up these gates or seal these gates, whatever we need to do here. Gloria is going to go next. She has 2 options. One, she could take a shot at this monster and probably kill it with its crossbow repeater thing because it only has 3 armor. But I think what we're going to do is, remember, oh, I forgot, when we kill a monster, we have to spawn a monster. So let's see what monster spawns onto the board. Oh, this is just terrible. Good news, this monster was pretty tough. So hopefully this one's going to be not too bad. We have found, what is this, a Yig? Well, I think that might be the first time I've ever said one of these things right. Yig, or yeah, maybe I didn't. We'll find out. This is, it's got 4 stamina, 1 health, 2 will, and 3 armor. It has 4 charges, and it attacks for 2 as a melee with a bunch of dice here. It says on a new round remove 1 charge. When the last charge is removed, this monster takes and spawns spawn of another monster I can't pronounce, which is probably not going to be good. So we'll place some charge counters down on this monster, which now I kind of think I need to take care of this guy because otherwise he's going to spawn something absolutely huge. Now it's 4 charges. So maybe that's enough time for me to activate all the other things. I don't know. We'll have to figure out what their best plan is. This monster would have spawned when Wallace was standing here. So it will try to find the closest spawn space to Wallace, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 away. Maybe the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it would still spawn up here. That's the closest one to Wallace at the time when he killed the monster. Wallace is right here. We'll now move into Gloria's turn, and Gloria could take a shot at this, but I think what she's going to use is spend all 6 of her stamina, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, to walk on down the road. Her goal is to get to the other tile, hopefully fast enough before these monsters encroach on them and kill them all. Moving into the spawn phase, we're going to do that. Explorers spawn monsters, reset spawn rating. I'll bring it back to 2. And I'm just going to do the horror event here as well. Invoke horror event and reset horror rating as well. And we'll take care of that after the spawn. We have to spawn 2 monsters. Here they come. We have a deep one. No, I said that right. It's going to try to do a ranged attack with 3 arcane. And when this monster hits, an 8 or higher, increase the monster's threat by 1. That's terrible. We'll put that guy on the board. That would be for Wallace because he went first. Gloria is going to get the second one. Gloria found the Moon Beast. The Moon Beast is awesome because when this monster is adjacent to a wall, it's ethereal, so that's awesome. And it's going to try to pull people next to her, and it's going to try to do a melee attack. That's going to be sweet. I'll grab both those and put them out on the board. The deep one will spawn right here, and the Moon Beast is going to spawn way up there. Let's go to the horror phase. First, we are going to move up the monster threat, and it has hit the final part of the track, so we're going to reset it back to here, and we now have to increase the monster difficulties. To do that, we are going to take our level 2 monsters here. We're going to take the ones without any type of scenario and anything that has a scenario symbol like this for the to eternity. We're going to take all the level 2 monsters, grab the destroyed monsters, mix those together. Then we're going to take the ones we haven't used yet and mix those as well. Now that's going to create a new monster deck, and it's going to have a whole bunch of new monsters in there as well. Hopefully they don't come up because those are going to be even tougher than the level 1 monsters. We'll put that all right here. Now the interesting thing is whenever we destroy a level 1 monster, we're going to be removing it from the game, therefore making this deck become only level 2 monsters. And when we add in level 3s, we're going to do the exact same thing. So this deck progressively gets tougher and tougher as you go. Of course, that's not all. I do have to draw a horror event. We have found Psalm for the Damned. We saw the prophecy would be fulfilled. We must be killed, the chosen sons, the holy ones devoured in immolation. Crucified, burned alive, sacrificed, left to die. Monsters can target ethereal units. First monster in monster queue is ethereal. Oh my gosh, that's terrible. All right, well, good news. We're at the point in this game, I don't think we're going to be fighting any monsters, but now I can't actually even target the Sarl anymore because that's the first monster in the queue. And good for us, none of us are ethereal anyway. But I do have that ability to become ethereal, so this is going to be tough. We'll move into the monster's turn and move them in this order. Now remember, this one is now ethereal. I can only damage it kind of with barrels and traps and things like that. I can't just physically target this one, which is kind of terrible because it attacks pretty powerfully, and I don't really know what I'm going to do about it. Our Sorrel does have 4 stamina. It's going to move 1, 2 to right there. When monsters move towards explorers, they do try to want to stay in an orthogonal direction if they possibly can. It's not going to end here. It will end right here. Now it has 2 stamina left, but to activate its attack, it needs 3, so the Sorrel is done. We'll move over to our Yig, which is that giant worm creature. The worm is going to also try to attack melee with 2 stamina. It has 4, so it's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's it. We'll move into the deep one next. The deep one will move 1, 2, and attack from here. It has 5 total stamina, so it does still have enough stamina to make a range attack with 3 dice. This is going to be terrible. And when this monster hits, I roll a 10-sider. If I get an 8 or higher, I'm going to increase the monster threat. The deep one attacks with 3 black dice, and I only have 3 defense. So we'll see how this goes. Nope, I got hit. So I'm going to take 1 damage. I'm going to take that in essence. So yet again, I'm down to 2 essence and 2 health with Wallace. And since it hit, I have to roll a d8 and or a d10, sorry. And if I get 8 or higher, I'm going to have to increase the monster threat. It is a 4, so we'll not be increasing the monster threat. It had to meet or beat the 8. So it did not. Fantastic. The final monster that's going to activate is the Moon Beast, and I activated this one incorrectly. I mean, you probably caught that. It has to go towards the closest explorer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So Wallace is actually closer. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to move to right there. The Moon Beast then will also move towards the closest, which will be Wallace. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope, I am wrong. It is going to be either one of these or equidistance. So then the next thing you check is health. Both of our explorers are at 2 health. So I'm going to have this Moon Beast. I think it's still going to go after Wallace. 1, 2, 3, 4 to right there. The Moon Beast has 5 stamina, and it has an ability down here for 2 stamina and 3 range. It can pull 2 spaces. Now the problem is it has line of sight to Wallace, but these are obstacles it cannot target through them unless, of course, it has that symbol that's found right here. It has this little spiky symbol, I guess you could say. So it's not able to actually target Wallace due to the fact that it doesn't have that. So he's just going to run up. Now I could have gone after Gloria, but I'm going to 1, 2, 3, and then it would have actually pulled her back 2 spaces because it has the ability to target her, and I don't want her pulled back 2 spaces because we got to try to get to these things. So instead I'm going to have these all run after him. Hopefully he can get to this trap space and activate it before he is massively dead. We'll see if that works. Going to the end of the round, I think I should have been moving these. I may have done this wrong in a couple of places. It says right here that at the start of the horror phase, you cancel all horror effects currently influenced by the game, resolve all horror effects that are equal to the current horror rating during the horror phase. Then at the end of the round, if the horror rating is not 1, lower it by 1. If the spawn rating is not 1, lower it by 1. Well, it's not 1, so I believe I'm going to lower it by 1. So we're going to be spawning things again during the spawn phase. If I'm wrong about that, please let me know in the comments below. But it does say right here, explorers spawn monsters and then reset the spawn rating. So I should have been resetting it and then lowering it by 1 at the end of the round. I've reset the stamina for both of our characters. Also, this token is long gone. It should have run back up there a long time ago. And we'll move into our explorer's turn. He needs to get really lucky, and I think she's got a good plan to be able to get there. I don't think there's going to be much blocking her from getting where she needs to be. Gloria is going to go first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost to this thing. She should be able to hopefully finish her part of this by next turn. Now, of course, she's got easy street here. He does not have easy street. He's got hard street. Let's see how he does. Our good pal Wallace, who has become a monster magnet, is going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to there, then use the final stamina point he has to use that recharge station right there. This is going to be for all the marbles here, because if I can get enough stamina out of this die, I might be able to get down and trigger that trap. Let's see how this goes. I got nothing. Blanco. So that's terrible. We got nothing on that die. That might be the end of him. So it might be all about Gloria if she can do both of these. We'll see how it goes. We're done here. Let's spawn some monsters and do a horror phase and hopefully not see my characters die. Since we're at the 1 on our track, we are going to spawn 2 monsters. This one will be for Gloria because she moved first. We've got another one of those monsters. We've seen him before. And we have a Thrall. Invoke horror event. It has 5. Okay, this is going to be terrible. We'll put him right here. Now, a good thing is a lot of these monsters might not actually get to me because there are so many of them out there that they're all going to bunch up around this poor guy. All right, that's the end of our spawn phase. Let's put those monsters out there. The first to spawn will be this one, and it's going to try to get as close as it can to Gloria, which will be right there. The next one is the Thrall. It's going to try to get as close as it can to Wallace, which is down there, so this poor guy again has a whole bunch of monsters coming at him. We're going to go into the horror phase now. First, we'll increase the monster's threat up 1, and we'll grab our next horror event. Let's see what it is. Thrashing Mania. Frozen by fear, we watched in terror as the monsters worked themselves into a frenzy. We've never witnessed such rage. They thrashed themselves about furiously, destroying everything in their vile wake. We knew it would be too long before we all suffered the same fate and could envision them crushing our skulls like one mighty pop like a grape. So the first thing they're going to try to do is destroy these action spaces, which actually might help us out. We'll see how it goes. Our Sorrel will start. It has 5 stamina. It's going to move 1 right here. Then it's going to use 2 of its stamina points to destroy an action space. So it's going to destroy this one right here. Then it's going to spend 2 more stamina to destroy this action space as well. Remember, the order of operations is going to be check to see if it has a linked up horror event, a bound horror event, I'm sorry, is what they're called, or else it's then going to try to work the horror event if it actually has the ability to do that. And it did. After that, then it would move and then try to do its other things on its card, or then at the end it would try to move. It couldn't do anything from here, but it can actually destroy both of these spaces from where it is. That's the end. We're going to go into the Yig, and the Yig is going to remove one of its charge tokens, and it should have removed a second charge token, I believe. I think I forgot to do that at the beginning of the last round. It does say down here, and when new round, remove 1 charge. I think I forgot to remove 1. This thing has 2 charges left, and it has 4 stamina. It is going to attempt to get into melee range of Wallace. 1, 2, 3, 4. It just can't quite get there. Next, we have the deep one. The deep one doesn't even have to move. He can go ahead and just shoot him twice. Look at this. 2 stamina at a 2 range to do 3 attack there. It's got 5 stamina. So at the end, it's going to make 2 attacks and then move 1 towards Wallace. We'll roll up our dice and see how this goes. Wallace is probably about to get hit twice. There's the first hit and the second hit. Oh, it's a 2, and I actually have a 3 defense, so I only got hit once. Wallace does actually have 3 defense down here, which is pretty awesome. So he is going to take 1 damage. I'm going to take that in essence. So again, I'm going down to 1 essence and still have 2 health with him. Next is the Moon Beast. It has 5 stamina. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's all the farther it can get, and it can't perform any of its abilities. Now we have this monster right here. This one has a range of 4 and 2 stamina points to make a 3 attack that can target up to 2 explorers up that are within range 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It can't hit him yet, but it can move 1 space right there. And now 1, 2, 3. It could wait. Can it hit it from right here? I think he can. 1, 2, 3, 4. He can hit him from right there. It's going to cross right here, so these will not block his attack. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's how it works. No, it'll cross right there. So this one will block that. So it does have to move down 1 in order to actually make the attack. So it's going to make an attack right there, and it's going to do it twice, rolling 3 white dice. Rolling up 3 white dice. Let's see how this goes. It did hit Wallace, so Wallace is now out of essence and has 2 health left. Roll up our second attack, and that one hit him just barely, but is enough to hit him. So Wallace is down to 1 health point. The final monster to activate is going to be our Thrall. Our Thrall has 5 stamina, and it's first going to use 2 of its stamina to destroy this space right here, which actually is going to help me out. It is going to try to attack melee at a range of 2 to try, and whenever it does, it's going to invoke a horror event. It actually doesn't do any damage, which is really good for me right now. So it has 3 stamina left. 1, 2, 3. It just can't quite get to him to do the rest of what it wants to do. That's the end of all of our monsters. Look at this mountain of monsters coming at us. Oh my gosh, this is out of control. At this point, we do have to reset our spawn ratings after we did the spawn of the monster. Reset it, the spawn of the horror event, reset it. Then we're going to move our track down 1 each. Oh my gosh. Wallace is down to 1 health. He does get his 6 stamina back, as does Gloria. Gloria might be having to be the one that finishes this whole thing. He might be able to activate the trap lever, but he's probably not going to last much longer than that because there's a mountain of enemies out there. He might die, but if Glorious lives, that would be okay. Gloria is going to go first. She's going to go 1, 2 to right there, and for 2 more stamina, she is going to destroy this trap space. It's not going to do anything because nothing is actually on a trap, but that's what I need to do to complete this. We're going to put our door right there. That's the end. I do have 2 more stamina I can use. So she went 1, 2, 3, 4. She's going to move back 5, 6 to right here. So in case I need to go somewhere else, I can start moving in that direction. Next, we have the human punching bag. 1, 2, 3. Wallace is going to move down here. 4, 5 to activate that trap. We're going to put up our door, and I believe that is going to complete this part of the mission. Let's check it out. It does say right here, when all gates are activated, go to the next chapter. Let's go ahead, flip it over, and see what we see. Oh, it looks like we're falling into a pit here. That's absolutely terrible. Let's go ahead and read and see what happens. Singularity. With white-knuckled desperation, we wrenched the rusted levers from their housings in time to ensnare a spindle forms of the scurrying hordes within the mouth of the gates are as they activated. That's awesome. As their frames unfurled and the essence of their dying rattles entwined with their energy of the gates themselves, a strange alchemy seemed to transpire as the 2 positive charges collided, repelling one another with a hideous force that detonated in a vacuum of singularity. The universe seemed to invert and turn upon itself as a million stars imploded and great swaths of reality were torn screaming from their firmament, ripped asunder and scattered to the darkest corners of endless, unfathomable aeons. It was not enough to state that the strange setting in which we had striven so desperately was destroyed, for in its absence a deeper sense of loss pervaded and now spiraling emptiness in which we were suspended, and yet amidst it all we remained aware, adrift, alone. The end! We did it! We made it through Genesis! This is To Eternity. It's the 3rd expansion to Machina Arcana, which is now in its 3rd edition. This was absolutely awesome. I'm a huge fan of those tiles that come out onto the map. I think these are fantastic. They add so much more to this game, and this intro scenario for the 3rd edition expansion To Eternity was really cool because it really gave us an idea of how those worked, and it actually kept a lot of the stuff hidden still. I didn't get to put the 2nd level weapons in, and we only got to the 2nd level monsters. So this game is only going to get harder as we move into some of the more harder scenarios. This is going to be really cool. There's so much more to play. I'm really excited to get to it. That was it. We were able to make it. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell symbol so you know when more videos come out. Also, please feel free to leave anything in the comments below. I would love to hear from everyone. This game is amazing. Have you had a chance to try this game out? And are you excited for when this actually ships out to you? I know I actually got an advanced copy, but I couldn't wait until it shipped to be able to get one of these games to you because this is such an amazing game. I have so much fun every time this game hits the channel. Again, thank you so much for watching. And if you're excited to see what comes next, then I need you to meet me at the table.